The desert night had fallen quiet, the kind of quiet that pressed against a man's ears, until even his heartbeat felt too loud. Cowboy Jace Hartley rode slow, letting his horse pick its own way across the cracked earth. He wasn't heading anywhere in particular, just trying to outrun memories that never stayed behind for long. Then he heard it, a faint, broken whisper carried on the wind. Jace pulled the reins, head turning sharply. At first he saw nothing, just the empty sweep of land under a dying sunset. But then, a flicker of movement. A small figure collapsed near a dry wash, half hidden by brush. It dismounted, his boots crunching on brittle dirt as he hurried forward. There she was, a young woman, curled into herself, one hand pressed tightly to her ribs. Her hair was tangled with dust, her dress torn, and her breath was shallow, as if every inhale was a battle. When Jace knelt beside her, she opened her eyes soft, shaking, and full of pain. It hurts too much, she whispered, her voice barely there. Jace leaned closer, his own voice low, steady, warm. That's why I'm here. He lifted her gently, careful not to cause more pain. She winced, gripping his shirt, but she didn't pull away. There was trust in her touch, or maybe just pure desperation. "What happened to you?" he asked. She hesitated, then shook her head. "They're coming. I didn't know where else to go." Jace didn't ask who they were. It didn't matter. Not yet. He could feel her trembling. He could feel how cold her hands were. Her heartbeat against his palm was too fast, too thin. He carried her to his horse and settled her gently in front of the saddle before mounting up behind her. She leaned into him instinctively, her breath brushing his throat. Every mile toward the Hartley cabin felt heavier than the last. Dark clouds rolled in from the east, swallowing the final streaks of sunset. The temperature dropped fast. The woman who hadn't yet said her name kept slipping in and out of consciousness. When they finally reached the cabin, Jace pushed open the door with his shoulder. The fire pit inside still held warm embers from the morning. He laid her on a thick bed of blankets near the hearth and coaxed the embers back to life. A fresh flame caught, and a warm glow spread across the small room. She winced again, clutching her side. Jace gently moved her hand away and saw a dark stain spreading through the fabric of her dress. "You're bleeding," he murmured. "It's not as bad as it looks," she whispered, though her pale face said otherwise. He worked with practiced hands, cleaning the wound with warm water, washing away the dirt and grime. He bound her ribs with a steady, gentle pressure. She watched him through half-lidded eyes, her energy fading. "You're kind," she said softly. "Why?" Jace paused, his fingers tightening on the cloth for just a moment. "Because someone once saved me when I didn't think I deserved saving." She swallowed hard, her eyes filling with tears. "My name is Lila Jace," he replied. "You're safe here, Lila." But she looked away, fear flickering across her face again. No one is safe from them. Just then, lightning cracked outside, rattling the cabin's single window. The storm had arrived with a sudden fury. Wind howled through the cracks in the old wooden walls, throwing shadows that danced like ghosts in the firelight. Jace sat beside her, resting a reassuring hand over hers. "Tell me." After a long silence, she spoke. Her voice trembled, but she pushed the words out. "They took everything, my father's land, our cattle, our home. They said we owed them a debt we could never repay. When my father stood against them, they sought him. I ran before they could find me." Her voice broke. "They're trackers. They're relentless. They won't stop." Jace's jaw tightened. He recognized everything in her story, the pain, the fear, the crushing injustice. He had lived it himself, once, a long time ago, and he had vowed then that he would never let it happen to another innocent soul. "You're not alone anymore," he said quietly. Thunder boomed, shaking the very ground beneath them, and outside a horse whinnied. Then another, then a third. Jace stood up his hand, going instinctively to the revolver at his hip. Lila's breath caught in her throat. "They found me." He looked at her, his expression calm but unyielding. "No, they found me." The storm lit the sky with a brilliant white flash as Jace stepped outside. 6 riders approached through sheets of heavy rain, their forms like dark shadows on restless horses. Their leader, A man with a cruel face called out, his voice cutting through the wind. "We're looking for a girl. Hand her over." Jace stepped forward, shoulders squared against the downpour. "Not anymore, you're not." The standoff lasted only seconds, but it felt like hours. Lightning flashed again, illuminating the grim determination on every face. Guns were drawn. Thunder roared, masking the first crack of gunfire. A shot split the night. Then, another. Tense silence broken only by the sound of the rain. When Jace walked back inside, soaked and breathing hard, Lila looked at him with wide, trembling eyes. "Are you hurt?" Jace knelt beside her and slowly shook his head. "No,